The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development. With a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives, at The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. So can we have a big round of applause, please, for Janey Lee?
Thank you. So I'm going to take Paul's tip and say more applause, more applause. Thank you, Bernardo. Thank you. So it's absolutely great to be here with you. And let's just find out, is there anybody here who is a Radio 2 listener at all? Any Radio 2 listeners in the house? Oh, okay. So we've got a few. All right. So in that case, it's really, really important that I stress I am not the old woman. You won't know what I'm talking about if you're not a Radio 2 listener. I'm the one who bangs on about holistic living and organic food and everything from natural deodorants to how you clean your home without chemicals, and Eco Balls, which is a natural deodorant, just in case you were worried, sir. But I'm also really passionate about helping people to get their message out to a wider audience and how to help people really shine and just take out the message that they want to bring to the world. And I believe the way to do this is to have real clarity on who you are, and I believe that you are your brand. Now, you might be thinking, I don't even have a brand. Well, I still think you're your brand, whether you have a business or you don't have a business. Now, interestingly, I first started to get into this work because of the work that I was doing as an interviewer. I remembered I did a TV show once, and it was live. It was Sunday morning live TV, and the camera pans across to us, and I was interviewing somebody. I think he might have been a vicar. And this poor man, I said my first question, and he froze. He literally froze like a rabbit caught in the headlights. Now, when you're on telly, they do other things, and somebody said something to me in my ear, and I was able to cover for it. But it was a disastrous feeling. I really felt for him. And then on radio, we had an experience where we had a hypnotherapist come in to be interviewed. And of course, I'm beyond excited. How cool is that? A hypnotherapist speaking to 8 million people on a mainstream radio show. She was a fantastic person. She'd written a great book. Lousy interviewee, and I mean lousy. Sadly, that was dropped. 8 million people, and that interview was dropped. Then there was another occasion where we had a guest coming in who I'd managed to get on the show. Now, that doesn't happen often, so don't kill me in the rush. But on this occasion, I'd read the book, and I thought, this would be great. What I hadn't reckoned on was that this person hadn't quite got that clarity and that confidence and those skills. And she walked in, we asked her the first question, and she went, well, shit. Oh, shit. It's not good on radio, is it? Fortunately, it was pre-recorded. I have some training in EFT, so I sat on the other side of the desk and tapped hard, and we got her through it. Afterwards, she said to me, I would rather give birth than ever do that again. Seriously? Really? No. We can help with that. And she's now someone who pops up on TV frequently. So I don't know whether you will ever be in a situation where you want to be on TV or you want to be on radio or you want to give a public presentation. But whatever it is, you need confidence in who you are. And that's what I believe it all comes down to. Now, can anybody see what I have in my little hands here? A $1 bill. Bill Gates famously once said, if I had only $1 left, I would spend that on marketing. How many of you here already invest in your business, in some PR or marketing for your business or for the work that you do? A few of you? Okay. Would anybody here like to have a bit more exposure for their work or for their something that they're passionate about? Yeah? Okay. Then, sir, please have my lucky dollar. I call that a lucky dollar because I gave that to somebody once, and she said, well, I put it in my travel drawer, and as I opened it up, there was 350 quid that I'd completely forgotten about. That's good. Okay, now, when I asked you then, I didn't exactly see masses of hands going up. So I'm thinking maybe, resistance, when you link money to PR and marketing, it all starts to sound a little bit kind of corporate. By the way, don't worry, I'm not going to get you to keep putting your hands up. Have anyone ever seen Sonia Choquette live? She's a big-time Hay House author, fantastic speaker. But what she does is she makes you dance. I mean, she actually gets you up dancing. Just be very scared unless you're feeling really like dancing. She also gets you standing up and turning to one side and massaging the shoulders of the guy in front of you. I hate that. And then they play Pharrell Williams' Happy while you're doing it. I won't be doing that. However, I do believe in the kind of collective conscious energy. I really do believe that. And we're here to be inspired tonight. We're inspiring people. And hopefully you're feeling open and willing to be inspired. But if there's a dementor in the room, that won't be so good. So I do want you to do one small thing. I want you to turn to the person next to you. Well, it's quite a big hall, so you might have to stand up and go to them. Are you ready? Stand up. And turn to somebody near to you and say, just better not be you holding me back. Just better not be you holding me back. Cool. So now the dementors are going to be feeling seriously guilty. You can sit down if you want to. So that sense of resistance that some people sometimes feel just a little bit when you mention PR and money and marketing is that it all feels so corporate. And a lot of the people that I work with have heart-centered businesses. They work with their passion. They're solopreneurs, they're startups, they're therapists, they're practitioners. They work with their passion. They will say, what are you talking about? I am not Bill Gates. I am not Anita Roddick. I am not Jamie Oliver. Of course it's not about me. It's about the products I sell. It's about the services. It's about aromatherapy or NLP or whatever it is I sell. It's not about me. Don't look at me. Well, I would say it's absolutely about you. It's all about you. So what might be the problem with really bringing yourself into that limelight and having the spotlight shining on you? And I think it comes down to that little old chestnut, lack of confidence and self-worth. Paul was talking about this earlier, so was Brian. It's those little voices, it's that thing that tells you, I'm not good enough. I have a friend who's a therapist and she goes to see her therapist and every now and then she says, could you reset my fraud button? Because she thinks she might get found out. Isn't it weird? However successful you are, however much you achieve, there's this feeling that maybe I'm just not quite good enough.
For complimentary resources from my book, my complimentary e-course, The Power of the Question, or recommended reads, go to www.thequestion.com/resource. For more information on my coaching or mentoring, go to www.bernardo-moya.com.
Now, Louise Hay, of course, is the absolute queen of all of this. Everyone aware of Louise Hay? I'm sure you are. 87 years old, is it now? 87 years old. Unbelievable, amazing woman. And Louise, as you will know, is queen of self-love, self-esteem, and mirror work. And at one of the Hay House conferences, she explained to us all the importance of being able to look in the mirror and say, I love you. British, for goodness sake. She told us to go to the restrooms. Can you even begin to imagine us all lined up there in the loo? Okay, I think I might love you. I'm not actually sure. As Sonia Choquette would say, hey, come on, British women, you're such a tight butt. So anyway, we found that hard. We found that really hard. But Louise Hay says you must have a mirror and you must have one on your desk and you must look in it before you make a phone call and tell yourself that you love yourself. You must also, she says, doing Louise Hay, keep one in your bra. So at all times you can go, hey, here's looking at you, kid, you're looking good. Now, it might be a bridge too far for some of us. But, the problem is when we look in the mirror, what do we actually see? Now, at this point, if I give a talk, if I'm talking about a similar thing, if there's a PowerPoint or whatever, I put on a really scary image, which makes everybody laugh, and they go, yeah, that is what I see when I look in the mirror. Now, we don't have that tonight, so I asked my kids, I've got 4 kids, but I asked the younger 2, who are 10 and 12, just 12, I explained to them, I said, I'm going to be speaking to people and I need to give them a kind of a representation of what I see when I look in the mirror sometimes, because I don't see the real me. I don't see the essence of who I am. I see this kind of terrible nightmare face, really old and wrinkled and ugly with like Nanny McPhee warts and hair sprouting and chins and like pointy bits and just ugliness and fear and misery. Can you help me? Have you got an idea how I can make that representation? So they looked at me and they said, I think you'll be okay, Mum. Charmed. But this is the problem. It's not so much about what we see, it's what we hear. It's the inner talk. Because when we look in the mirror, what we actually do, or when we just talk to ourselves, as Paul was mentioning too, what we're hearing is, I'm not going to be able to do a good presentation. I'll never attract the clients I want. My business won't be successful. And that is what we will attract to our lives, all of that inner talk. In fact, somebody once said, if you had a 5-year-old child standing next to you and you said the things you say to yourself, your inner talk, you'd be had for abuse. Seriously. There's a great phrase which is, be careful what you say because you might be listening. So what can we do then to get in touch with who we are? I call it clarity, not vanity, because I'm not just suggesting that we pretend we love ourselves and pretend that everything's great. We actually really get in touch with the essence of who we are and what's great about us. And I call that your unique brilliance, Y-O-U, unique brilliance. And a really quick and easy way to do this is, if you've got a notepad, you can do this now, or you can just do it in your head, is draw a little heart in the centre of a notepad and write your name in the centre of the heart. And then around that heart, think about some phrases or jot down a word or a phrase, 4 or 5, that sum up everything that's great about you. Your achievements, what's fabulous about you, your unique selling point. Just words that sum up your fabulousness. No one else has got to see it, so don't worry about your show-off chart. This is just for you. Okay? Have you got a few things written down? Okay, so I am now going to be a clairvoyant. I'm going to tell you what you've written down, okay? I reckon at least 50% of the room has written down, not necessarily these words, but the sentiment, words that mean something similar to authentic, professional, well-qualified, good listener, good team player. Now, those words are fantastic and no problem at all. And I'm thrilled that you're all those things, and I would want you to be all those things. But I would not call those things your unique brilliance. I'd call those things prerequisites. So tell me, are there any women here that go to a hairdresser? Do you ever go to a hairdresser? Well, all guys. Guys go to hairdressers. Who goes? Anyone? Yes. Okay. Do you go to any hairdresser in any town or city anywhere? No. Okay. You can tell that I don't. I go all the way to the Cotswolds to get my hair done, which is why I haven't had time to go to Cotswolds. But I will be, because I like, know and trust that hairdresser. Anyone go to a dentist? Yeah. Happy to go to the same one? No. I have a fantastic dentist. In fact, he's also a classical musician. So it's most disconcerting, because when he's in your mouth, as it were, classical music is playing and he hums, but he hums a harmony. So it's most disconcerting and beautiful all at the same time. Not that you could say anything, of course, because you have a mouthful of instruments, but not those kind of instruments. So the point is, I go to that dentist, I go to that hairdresser, I drive 200 miles to go to that hairdresser because I like, know and trust them. People do business with those they like, know and trust. Now, I am not suggesting that you don't need all of that stuff. You need the authenticity, you need the professionalism. Sometimes people write down, I'm good at transforming others. One of my clients decided that the strapline for her business was going to be Wendy the Transformer. But that's a robot, right? But I knew where she was coming from. But so how do you get then? How do you get to your actual unique brilliance if they're prerequisites? Well, it's really easy. You just do the exercise all over again. And now I want you to write some words that I couldn't possibly guess because I don't know anything about you. So now write something else. Now tell me something unique about you. Come on, somebody shout something out. Brave. It's good. It's getting there. But I want something else. I want something unique, something of your unique brilliance. Did you run the New York Marathon? Can you crochet mini hats? Can you find anything in a charity shop? Actually, that's my one. Can you make a mean raw apple pie? Get the idea? Come on. Tell me about your unique brilliance. Yes. Come on.
Beans on toast.
You do?
Cheesy beans on toast.
Cheesy beans on toast. Special. You can hula hoop. Love it. Okay, we're getting there. These are the things that may not necessarily ever go into your marketing. I am not necessarily suggesting that across your marketing for your business, you tell everyone you can hula hoop. But something about who you are will come out in what you do. It's about the energy of owning your unique brilliance. Interestingly enough, this seems so simple, but it can actually be really tough. It can actually take people ages, because in many cases, we've forgotten. We've come so far away from who we are and really appreciating ourselves that we're not in touch anymore. We're not in touch with what it is that's amazing and brilliant about us. And when you are in touch, when you're really in touch with that unique brilliance, that's when you can really stand strong, firm in your spotlight. It might mean that you need to do some stuff. You might need some skills. You might need to do some training to be where you want to be. But you can claim your unique brilliance. Now, the next really big question, or really big thing, and for this, I didn't need a screen, but I do in fact have, look, a wand. I am your fairy godmother. I'm actually going to be a fairy godmother in pantomime. I am, really. Now you're meant to go, oh, no, you're not. So I can grant you one wish, but just one big wish for your business. What's it going to be?
For more information on collaborating, partnering, sponsoring, supporting, or speaking at any of our events, or finding out more about our legacy clubs, go to www.thebestyou. If you're interested in finding out more about the amazing content we have, please go to www.thebestyou.online and get your 14-day free trial now.
Don't get that one wrong. That's the one everyone gets wrong, because they're not specific. Goal setting, we've been talking about goal setting. You can call it a dream, you can call it a goal, you can call it your deepest desire, but make it something big, but attainable, achievable. Don't plan to be an Olympic swimmer if you don't like your ears getting wet. But come up with your fairy godmother dream and be specific. I had a client who's a dance teacher, and she said, oh, that's easy. My one big dream, my one desire is that I will have my own space to teach in. I'm so fed up of renting halls. So I said, okay, well, I have my wand. There's a disused garage down the end of the road. You can dance in there. Of course, that's not what she meant, but she wasn't specific. I had another client who is an NLP coach, and she is very hot on the link between mindset and weight loss. So I asked her, and she's very successful, by the way. She's written lots of books and she has successful programs. I asked her, what's your one big fairy godmother dream? And she said, oh, that everybody gets the link between mindset and weight loss. What a different world it would be. Fabulous dream. So I said, okay, let's fast forward to some kind of utopia. Fairy godmother brings you that dream. And I know it's a little bit far-fetched. NHS, everybody else gets it. Weight loss, mindset, let's put them together. But where are you in the picture? She'd forgotten that bit. She'd left herself out of her dream. And this is what can happen so often. So I would really urge you to get in touch with your dream. Look at your value, your unique brilliance. I add all that up to call that your value and really own it, really claim it. Look at what you need to do. What are the missing links between where you're at, what your value is, and what it is you really want? By the way, a fantastic exercise that you might want to do if you're not sure, because we're not always sure exactly what it is we want, is to do a vision board. How many people have done a vision board here? Oh yeah, a few of you. Okay, and the top tip is to really do it properly. Like grab yourself a whole load of magazines and crayons and sparkly bits and glue, and turn the phone off for a good 2 hours so you get into a kind of a meditative state. And you do this vision board, and you do the vision board for your project, for your business, for your dreams, for your life. Okay. So you stick whatever it is in the middle, and then you become, after a while, it becomes very subconscious and just start cutting and sticking and cutting and sticking. And I did this a while back, and in the middle of all these pictures and images and words that seemed very relevant to the goals that I had in mind, suddenly I find myself gluing onto the vision board this picture of this scruffy little black dog. What on earth is that about? Now, as I've already said, I've got 4 children and no pets. I mean, it's enough already, right? Now, each of the 4 kids would love a dog. They constantly nag me and tell me that they want a dog. I'm not having a dog. I can't cope with the responsibility of a dog as well as the 4 kids. So I thought, where did this come from? And somebody said to me, well, it's on your vision board and you've really set your intention there. Be very scared. Just might happen. So I was in the bizarre situation of wishing what I'd wished for wouldn't come true. I got home and the kids saw the vision board and they went, finally! So finally, we get the dog. No, steady on. And a couple of weeks later, someone knocked at my door, a neighbour who lives just up the road. And she had the dog. It was the actual dog on the lead. And she said, meet Teddy. I've just bought Teddy, this lovely new puppy. And I thought your kids might like to walk him. Result. Wish comes true, no responsibility. Perfect. I want to leave you with one little tip. I mean, there's lots of things I could share with you. But one little tip that I would share with you is that if you want to really build a platform for yourself, if you want to become known so that you can become the go-to expert in your field, so that you can be the head of your brand, that you can become known as the person journalists want to ask for a comment, or the person that's going to be invited to speak on a radio show or on a stage like this, is to think about writing a book. How many people here have written a book? I know Paul has. Okay, a few of you. How many of you would like to write a book? Oh, yes, they say there's a book in us all. Now, a book is a fantastic calling card. It really, really is. And here's my big top tip. You'll have heard it before, but I'm going to tell you again. It doesn't have to be War and Peace. I can already hear many of you saying, I'd love to write a book, but I haven't got time. I'll do that when? I'll do that when I've finished university. I'll do that when the kids have left home. It doesn't have to be War and Peace. A book is an amazing calling card. When you've written a book, you've got the word author, you add 3 letters, you become an authority. Producers, editors, journalists want authorities. They assume, rightly or wrongly, that if you've written a book, you've got some knowledge on the subject. You're some kind of expert, whether they've read the book or they haven't read the book. I'll tell you an interesting story of a guy that I was working with. He had a product which was, how should we say this? An intimate feminine product. Basically, I've never known a guy so inspired by women's parts. Anyway, so it's quite difficult to get PR for that kind of thing. But we got some great statistics together and some great information, and we sent this pitch off to the Daily Mail, to a contact at the Daily Mail. And we had a fantastic case study, by the way, which would have fitted beautifully in the female section. A woman whose sex life had been greatly improved. So anyway, I eventually get a call back and said, it's not quite right. Thank you for the information, but it's not quite right. It's a little bit too icky for us. Really? So he was very disappointed. I said to him, look, I really think you should write a book. Just make it a short book. You can make it an ebook if you like, but write a book because you've got a lot of information, some of it quite controversial. You've got some great statistics. You've got some great case studies. Stick it in a book. He said, okay, I'll have a go. Now, while he was waiting for the book to be published, he decided to take out an advertisement for his products in a supplement of one of the national newspapers. Now, this was against my advice. He spent £5,500 on those adverts. How many of his products do you think he sold? 4 at £20 a pop. So a couple of weeks after that, his book came out. So we sent the book and exactly the same case study to the same journalist at the same newspaper. Voila, full page spread. Nothing had changed. The only thing that had changed was that they were writing about a book. They were reviewing a book rather than just trying to promo a business. And that's the subtle difference. Now, they do say that PR is worth 2.5 times the cost of advertising. So if you're thinking of writing a book, go for it. go for it. That's my absolute top tip. It is really interesting that this is how you could become the go-to expert. One of my colleagues is Vanessa Feltz on Radio London. Vanessa, of course, extremely learned and eloquent. And she was doing a feature on weather systems, and she wanted an expert on volcanoes. So she was in the studio, she was live on air, and she pressed a little talkback button, and she had an intern working there in the production office, and she said, could you get me a Vulcan? Well, now it could have gone wrong. Had someone more experienced not have intervened, she might have had someone with pointy ears. But you can become the go-to expert. So I would love to encourage you to get clarity. It's not vanity, it's clarity. Get clarity on who you are and what is your unique brilliance. And when you really own that and claim it, then it feels really cool to stand in the spotlight because you're authentic. There's nothing whiffy about PR when it's authentic. It's only when there's a lot of spin. That's when it's not so good. So I'd love to encourage you to do that. I look forward to reading your books. I look forward to seeing you on the stage. I look forward to seeing you shine your light brightly. I hope you're staying around afterwards. I actually have the first copies of my brand new book, You Are the Brand. I feel like I've given birth again, in a good way. It's very exciting. You never stop being excited by holding your book in your hands, really, seriously. It's a really great feeling. And if you are interested in buying a copy of that book tonight, for a limited period, I'm also giving away free with that book an audio training, an audio downloadable module, which is worth £97. So that's got to be cool. And if you don't want a book, but you would like to sign up for my free online training, it's a free online 10-day training, DIY PR to get you seen, heard and sold, please come and do that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. See you again.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.